Hi, and welcome to the Real with Shy Power Pack series, where I bring to you 50 amazing business experts. Today, I have with me co founder of Work the Future Today, co founder of Brand New Purpose, and accomplished author, Mr. Whitney Vosburgh. How are you today, Mr. Vosburgh?
I am very well, and I'd like to say to you and everyone else, happy Valentine's.
Oh, thank you. Oh, same to you. Well, tell me, who is Mr. Whitney Vosburgh, and give us a little bit of your backstory.
Well, I am a spiritual being having a human experience. Grew up around the world. My dad worked for an airline, so went from New York to Japan to Holland, England, and then back to the States. So I grew up with a multicultural background, moving from one set of religion, culture, language to another, to another, to another. And what I learned was that we're all the same. Although we're all unique human beings and we have a unique gift to share with the world, we all basically at the end of the day want the same thing: to be wanted, needed, to be valued, to make a difference.
Okay, so tell us, how did you and Dr. Grantham meet?
A very dear friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, for years said, you know, Charlie, you know, Whitney, you guys got to meet because I know it's going to be magic. And it took us, for whatever reasons, quite a few years to finally connect. But when we did, it was like two houses on fire. And it was just wonderful to find somebody as smart, fun, and talented as Charlie. And we have a lot of overlapping skills, but complementary skills as well. And so we decided, hey, let's write a blog, and that worked well. So we wrote a series of blogs, and we said, yeah, let's turn that into a book. So we did that, and we turned it into a second book, and here we are today.
Wow. So there was definitely chemistry there from the onset between you guys.
Yes, for sure.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, give us an intro into WTF and the vision behind it. Can I just say, when I first saw the name, I was like, what in the what? WTF. And then I was like, oh, Work the Future. Well, that is innovative. And it just had me. And even reading the book is even more amazing. So just tell us, where did all of this come from? What was the vision behind it?
Charlie is an expert on the future of work, as well as workplace design, organizational design, things like that. So we're talking about futurists who predict the future, but 9 out of 10 are wrong. 9 out of 10 times are wrong. And they're valuable in the sense of that they give us something to push against, something to think about. But no one can predict the future. However, as Peter Drucker said, if you want to predict the future, you have to create the future.
Yeah. And
that's what Work the Future Today is about. Since we all co-create the future today, right now, now and now and now, but most of us do it unintentionally. So it's so important to take a look inside and say, what is my purpose? What is my unique gift that I'm here to share with the world? What is my intention? How do I bring it to life? So we're talking about what's going on in the headlines, the TV, radio news, on social media. There is so much negativity out there, doom and gloom, and some of it is warranted. We are deep in shift from what was to what will be. So, saying, Charlie, people are just saying, instead of FOW, which is a hashtag for future of work, and big topic in terms of automation, robotics, artificial intelligence, is people are looking at the headline saying, WTF, what's the future? Where's the fun? And so I said, here's the problem, Charlie, is not predicting the future, it's creating the future right now. So you have to work the future today. So that's where the title of the book came from, Work the Future Today.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, let's go a little into the book. Let's talk about your why, because I really like that. As a network marketer, that part of, well, what I do, because I wear many hats, but that part of me is kind of drawn to the why, and I know my audience is really going to want to know what's your why and why is that? Why do people need a why? And what is the power behind it?
My why, my calling, my purpose is to help, guide, and inspire other people, collections of people, whether they're organizations, companies, communities, governments, to look inside, find their purpose, their head, the reason why they're here, why they get up in the morning, and then travel the longest distance, those 18 inches from head to heart, your community, your work team, your spiritual community. So it's going from why to who.
Mm.
With whom do I share my unique gift with? Where do I find them? And finally, we go from why to who, or from head to heart to hands. Practice. How do I best share my unique gift with those who I need to share it with? Why is why important? The shorter the question, the more important it is. And why is the most important of important questions? How is important? That's where most people start. And it's sisters of what, when, how much. Even better is who and where. In other words, where's your place? As a house is the space, a home is the place. So place is where your heart is. It's where you find those people who are important in your life. And then moving up from there, because as we all know, as the head turns, the body follows, whether it's one person or an organization. So being creatures, we are always forever creating new possibilities, but that's based on our potential. And our potential is nothing unless we have a why, a North Star to help us, guide us from where we came from, where we are, and where we're going to.
So, how do I know my why? How would I know my why? There are a
But
lot of people who are lost out there. How do I know my why?
when your IQ, EQ, and GQ are in alignment,
Mm.
that's intelligence, intellectual intelligence. EQ is your emotional intelligence, and what I call your gut intelligence, GQ. So IQ, EQ, GQ. So when you're, what you think, what you feel, and what you intuit are in full alignment, chances are you not only know your purpose, but you're living it out to its fullest. It's an inside job. Everything you need to know by, let's say, your time you're 35, you already know it. No one else can tell you what you need to know. You already know it. It is up to you to go deep inside, to listen to your soul, spirit, chi, prana, life force, whatever you want to call it. But you have to slow down. You have to quiet the chatter of the monkey mind so you can listen to the yearnings of the soul. So that when it bubbles up, you listen to it and you do something with it. So introspection, journaling, meditation, singing, prayer, being outside, looking at great art, it doesn't matter, but quiet moments in human nature and in the external nature is typically where you find the quiet in solitude, where you can listen to what your soul or spirit is telling you.
Mm.
It's there. You just have to stop and listen.
That is amazingly powerful. Well, let's go into life purpose. Let's talk about what's your story, your life purpose. Can you tell us a little about that?
My personal life story is on my deathbed, I want as few regrets as possible. And I am, my dad was a businessman. My mother is an artist. I am both. So I went to design school, studied applied creativity as well as painting and many other fine arts. So I try to live my life creatively, and I try to do business creatively, create things that are expressive of what is my essence, so that I can share it with others. So to me, my greatest artwork, the work of my life, is to live my life as fully as possible, to discover and deploy, to search and share my unique gift, which is creating clarity out of chaos, confusion, and complexity. So there's a path where you came from, where you are, where you should and could go, working backwards. How do you get there?
Wow, I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. So tell us, is there a difference between purpose and calling?
I'm sure there is. It's getting to the point where there's tremendous overlap. You can think of, in terms of head, heart, and hands, your purpose is your destiny. Your heart is your destination because it's a place. Your practice, your hands, is the journey. So we are called to do something when we have clarified to ourselves and usually others what our purpose is, what our unique gift is. So we are called upon to share our gift. So that's the difference, and that's the overlap.
I like that. So tell me, why is purpose, or how does it affect us, rather? How does purpose affect us, or the lack of pursuit thereof? Meaning, what happens if I do not live out my purpose, or if I do not pursue it? How do you think it affects me as a human being?
It's like having a child that grows up physically. They look like an adult, they sound like an adult, but they're a child inside.
Mm. That's an interesting way to put it. Very interesting way. So let's talk about your gift. What is a gift?
Gift. A gift is having gone those 18 inches from head to heart, and then those, 2.5 feet from heart to hands, so that you've done the intellectual work, you've done the emotional work, and also the intuitive work. And you're able to then practice it, to give it. So many people stay stuck in the past, holding on to something. You can either, as we always have a choice, and even when we think we don't, we can either hold on to what was, or we can let go and embrace the new.
Yeah.
You cannot do both. It's either or, this or that. So a gift is the result and a process, an experience, and an expression of having gone deep inside oneself done one's internal work. For instance, you have to do your psychological work before you can do your spiritual work, so that you can find your gift, develop your gift, embody your gift, be your gift, and share it with the world, particularly with those who need it the most. When I was at divinity school, one of the things I learned was your greatest gift can be your greatest wound. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you've experienced it so deeply, so viscerally, and that others who have experienced it know that you have. You've been there. You're real. You relate. Yeah. So we will have a choice of, are we a wounding healer or a wounded healer?
Mm. Wow, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. And what is the danger with being a wounded healer?
That you project your unfinished business on other people.
Mm. Yeah, that happens a lot. It really does. So about the gifts, because I know there are so many tests out there that you can take to find your gifts. Do you think these are accurate? Because a lot of times, even as a life coach, it's part of the process. You send people to do all of these tests. Hey, take a test on whatever.com and find out what your gifts are. And people say, oh, my gift is this, this, this. But still, sometimes it may not be a total match. So do you think that these tests out there work, or are they part of the process?
They are part of the process. Some tests are clearly better than others.
Right.
But as in anything in life, it's not just the test. It's the person who evaluates and interprets the test. Right. Yeah. For example, my co-author Charlie introduced me to somebody who is an expert in one of those systems. And it was one of the better systems. But she was fantastic. So that she brought these fairly dry results alive for me, so that I could go, yeah. So that instead of like, yep, tick, 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 it's more like, yeah, that's me. So it's always, it's like the difference between being effective and efficient. Efficient can be good, but if you're efficiently doing the wrong thing, then that's not good. In fact, it's bad. So it's about effectiveness. It's about bringing any dry set of numbers alive so that the other person can experience it emotionally. Because in life, anything and everything that is truly valuable are transformative emotional experiences. This is why storytelling is so important.
Interesting. So I have one last question on gifts. What if I don't use my gifts?
Well, that's your loss and everyone else's loss. Mm. It's a missed opportunity. Mm. Plus, you'll go to your deathbed viscerally knowing that I could have, I should have, but I didn't. Terrible feeling. Don't recommend it.
So why do you think it is that people do not use their gifts then?
How many hours do you have?
I like that answer. That's so true. It is complex.
I will put it in very brief terms. Neuroscience has shown that the way our brain is wired is that negative experiences are 3 times stickier than positive, which is why bad news sells. So we have to work that much harder to create positive wiring in our brains. The good news is, due to what's called neuroplasticity, the fact that our brain is forever changing and changeable right until the day we die, that there is the potential of rewiring ourselves, no matter what we've experienced in life. 'Cause it all comes down to a choice. Often people make excuses that I don't have a choice. We always do. We have three choices. We can act, non-act, or react. So it's a choice that you make. We human beings are the sum of our choices. And plus, the world we live in that is shared electronically is based on fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's to maintain control, ownership, and things that go along with that. It's about fear.
Mm-hmm.
And for instance, advertising, marketing uses fear to make you feel less than whole, less than attractive. I'm not good enough. I'm not whole because I don't have this or I don't do that. We are all complete as we are once we've become fully formed adults. So it's just a choice we make. So it's a matter of going from destruction to creation,
Yeah.
from fear to love, from me to we to us.
Wow, that's powerful. That is so powerful. Wow. Woo! That's a lot to take in. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow, just amazing. So let's talk about role models. What is your idea of an ideal role model?
I was thinking about this just yesterday. It's a thought that hasn't come to me before because I'm starting to develop an even bigger picture of connecting the dots. And I realized that we all have many masters, and I mean that in a neutral sense of it's not male or female. We have many masters in our lives that at certain times when we were a child, a teen, a young adult, in our 30s, 40s, 50s, doesn't matter. These people come into our lives and they impact us. Sometimes it's very subtle but profound. Sometimes it's boom. But if you think back to all those people that provided those moments of holding up a uncracked mirror to us so we could see ourselves in our perfection, that gives us a hint as to what lies behind the mirror deep inside ourselves. The whole thing is they meet you where you are, see the greatness in you, and treat you as if you've arrived at where you want to go, to be at the fullest expression of your true self.
Hmm.
And thank you to all the masters that I've ever had in my life.
Right.
Some of whom I didn't recognize until yesterday. I just went, "Oh wow, what a lucky fellow I've been."
Wow. Well, I'm going to divert a little from that very powerful point. But we live in a generation today where the idea of a role model is who or what we see excelling on social media. Agreed. Do you think that there are people out there that make good role models, or do you think they have what it takes? Or what is a good role model? What are we looking for in a role model today when people are not looking at the people within their circle, like you said, which would be the most impactful people, but we have a generation who's looking up to all of the people out there. All of the Ray Higdons and the Grants and you name them, all of these coaches, Tony Robbins. What are they looking for in these people?
Most people of any age are scared to death of taking responsibility for themselves and their lives and their actions. It's all an inside job. It's about saying, tag, I'm it. I am me. It's about finding and following your own lead. Being your own leader. No one else can do it for you. It's about becoming the leader you wish you always had. Social media is a cracked mirror at best. It distorts everything. And plus, people make a tragic mistake of confusing connectivity with connection. Better to have one true friendship than 50,000 followers. Quality over quantity.
I agree. I agree. That is so true. Well, let's talk about action plans.
Yes.
What is an action plan?
An action plan is, in terms of the context of this conversation, if you know what your purpose is and you know your place, your community, and where to find them, then it's about practice. So you have your North Star. You know where you came from. You know where you are. You know where you need to go. You know the direction. So the action plan is working backwards. What steps do I need to take one by one in order to get to where I need to go? And of course, it's not a straight line. At best, it's zigzag and back and forward and all that kind of stuff. But over time, the average should more or less, if you follow your North Star, you will have a direction. And the thing is, like in rocketry, if you change by a few degrees the trajectory of a rocket over thousands, 10,000s, hundreds of thousands of miles, the difference is enormous. It's like the difference between going to the moon and the sun. So an action plan in itself is important. It's tactical. And strategy can only become real if there's a series of tactics, an action plan, an organization behind it. But of course, you need the why.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, any successful person or persons, an organization, a company, whatever, are successful because they've successfully searched for, found, and shared their purpose consistently over time so that they create a powerful personal or organizational brand.
Right.
Brand is not what you think it is. It's what others say you are.
Wow.
So there has to be congruence between what you are, what you say, what you do, and how other people experience that.
So what makes a good action plan?
A good action plan starts with why, who, followed by all the important things that follow. How, when, what, how much. And I would add to that ongoing analysis of, okay, so I came from here, I am here, I'm going over there. These are the steps I'm going to take. But along the way, I'm going to take measurements. I'm going to analyze the situation to see if I'm on track and what kind of progress I'm making. The more specific you are, the more you've created a picture, either in real life or in your mind and in your heart, of what you are here creating. The more you make it real, the more likely it is to become realized.
Okay, so I have had the pleasure of reading this amazing book, and I love the steps. Guys, if you're listening, you want to buy this book. And I'm going to come back to the you want to buy this book part. But um, your steps to creating your action plan and everything in the book is amazing. Here's what I need you to make clear to the audience
Mhm.
today. How do we follow through with the action plan? Because everything, every step in this book is, I can't stop saying amazing. It is clear, it is well thought out, it is so easy to follow. But how do I follow through? Because I'm so busy. This is some deep stuff, Mr. Vosburgh. How do I
Yes.
follow through with it to achieve the maximum out of this? I'll call it program, working my future.
Working the future today is the art of the possible done well in advance.
Mm,
So it's the opposite of procrastination.
right.
It's about seizing the moment, seizing the day. So how do you do it? Well, there are so many different ways of doing that. One is do it in bite size. A journey of 1,000 miles is a series of steps. So just break it up into short, easy to do, measurable steps. And always celebrate your wins, big ones, little ones, medium sized ones. So give yourself a lot of many reasons to celebrate. I've accomplished this, and then that, and then that. I have these markers, I have these milestones, I have these accomplishments, I have these qualitative and quantitative ways of proving to myself and my stakeholders that I am making the journey. I am on my way. I am doing what I said I was going to do. It is also to make yourself accountable with the people that matter, your peers, your mentors, your stakeholders. We all, sharing a gift, we're creating value for our community. And we have stakeholders in our community. And whether we're a corporate brand, a personal brand, it's all the same. We have a community of stakeholders, and we are in a value exchange with them. So one of the important things is to have a clear, easy to understand value proposition, which is I am here based on my gift to provide you with a promise of value, whatever that is. In return, you're going to give me a value of your time, money, association, vote, name, endorsement, involvement, or whatever. So, it's about, community stakeholders are about overlap of your personal purpose and your community's purpose so that they overlap. And the nexus is the shared purpose. That's what brings you together. What keeps you together is shared value, because there's this value exchange going on. And it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with money. It can. That's just one of many ways to store, count, exchange value. So it's make it as clear as possible. Have a vision. Manifest that vision. Do a collage. Take photographs. Put it on a pin board. Do a drawing. I don't know. Write it out in flowers in your garden. Just whatever. Make yourself a map, a path. Visualize it. Depending on what is your primary expression. It's just do it with sound, do it with sight, do it with touch, smell, taste, whatever, touch. It just whatever it is, just make it real, make it visceral, make it multi-sensory. So write it down, draw it, photograph it, share it, put deadlines around it. Have a board of directors, an advisory council, whatever you want to call it. People are going to hold you accountable, but who are also there to encourage you, to solve problems with, to share the journey, share the joy, share the pain. Have fun with it. Don't think, oh, I gotta, It's like, I want to. I choose this. It's like, yeah, I'm going to bring my gift to the world. I'm going to share it. I'm going to make a difference. Can you think of anything better to do with your life? I can't.
No, no, I agree. 100%. That's why I love life coaching, sharing my gift with the world. So let's talk about the shift. I'm really interested in the shift. Let's talk about that.
Well, as we know, a shift happens, and it certainly is now. Not only that, but we're deep in shift.
Mhm.
Read the headlines, so on. So there's a lot of stuff happening. It's gotten to the point now where it's not business as usual. What's happening now has never happened before. We are at a unique moment in time. And it's a pivot point. So we're going from the old story of profit first, based on capitalism. It's taken us far, given us many modern comforts. Does not take us any further. Probably the last best thing it gave us was the triple bottom line. So instead of just being focused on profits, it developed the triple bottom line of profit, people, planet. But that story is dying now. What we now have is an emerging new story of purpose first, with a new triple bottom line of planet, people, profit. Because after all, if there's no planet, there's no people. And if there's no people, there's no profit. And so we're shifting from a focus on shareholders to those of stakeholders, of which one of multiple parts are shareholders. But it's got much broader. And so we're shifting from a patriarchal model based on fear to a matriarchal model based on love.
Yeah.
And we have a choice now. We have destruction or creation. You can't have both.
That is, that's just, wow. Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, I'm just taken aback. It's one thing to read it, it's another thing to actually interact with you and learn from you. I mean, it's a lot to take in. Guys, I know you are learning if you are listening to this interview. All right, let's talk about this final thing. How does the place one lives affect their goals, productivity, and so on?
It affects everything. Because a place is where the heart resides. And we are emotional beings. Yes, we have our intellect, and that's very important. But at the end of the day, we're emotional creatures.
Mm.
So that the most important thing that we create for one another through stories and other means is through emotional transformative experiences. So if you're in the right place, you will be with the right people who you can share your unique gift. Because giving is the gift that keeps on giving. And you will be receiving from others their gifts. And there will be alignment. There will be a positive mutuality. As they say in Africa, the definition of Ubuntu, but for you, I am. So it's either we're better together or we're not. So to be in the right neighborhood, the right community, the right work team, the right company, the right organization, the right city, the right whatever. It's just that you have to find where your heart resides.
Wow, that is interesting. All right, Mr. Vosburgh, if there was one thing, just one powerful thing, one nugget that you could give our audience today to take them to 2019, what would it be?
If you have nothing else to share, you can always share your smile.
Wow, That is amazing. Wow, you are just such an amazing man, full of wisdom. Oh, wow, you have me just taken aback. This is a rare that someone is able to do this, guys. I know you have learned a lot. This is a lot to digest. If you're listening, keep playing it, replay, take all of these nuggets. I know this is a powerful, intense interview. Thank you so much, Mr. Vosberg.
My
I
pleasure.
thank you so much for everything. And um, we will definitely stay connected and be in touch. Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
May,
right.
may you and everyone else have a lovely day.
We will. Thank you. Bye.